Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors. Shalawama, everyone. Shalawama. Actually, Shalawama is also a civics term. It's also a civics term, so if you want to know more about that and how and why, you can subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. The link is the link is in the description area of my recent videos. It's not in this one yet. Hopefully, I'll remember and put it there. Uh, but anyway, yes, indeed, it absolutely is. Okay, so we left off talking about the moon. Uh, we are on page 100, and I always forget the page, y'all. I should have checked. I um, I get it mixed up when I read and review, or if I study, I get everything confused. Scholars, I feel like a student. My whole life is books. My whole life is books. We're Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Uh, y'all know I'm juggling many things, so I have to be uh, in communication, available for communication. Give me 1 second, and I prioritize my live streams. So when I have free time, uh, no matter when, if I'm able, if I have everything, I'll do a live stream. And so how this that's how this is playing out. So let me check. Excuse me. Let me check where we left off, so I don't. There are some things I want to review also about the moon. Remember, scholars, in this chapter we're dealing with uh, the law of correspondence. This is. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Ah, okay. So we're on page 167, and there's quite a bit I want to go through. Page 167. What I found most interesting. Let me go back. So on this chapter, we are dealing with the law of correspondence, the electromagnetic, energetic impact, effect uh, on consciousness, which would include personalities and phenotypes, the way people look, their face and their body build. Okay. Also, the things, the challenges, uh, the grace, if you will, the good and the bad that will happen to them in their life. Uh, not because they're locked into it, but because that's what the that's what the electromagnetic or cosmic energy um, is producing. If if you don't do anything about it, so you can't do anything about it if you're not aware of it, right? And if you are aware of it and you don't know how to use it scientifically, well, it's going to overtake you. Okay? If you know about it and you know how to use it scientifically, meaning you're aware of the Hermetic Laws, you're aware of astrology, astronomy, astrotheology, and the lesser laws. So you actually, all of the sciences you need to know, because the way to neutralize these effects is through uh, using higher laws against lesser laws. Okay? Using higher laws against lesser laws to neutralize them or minimize their impact. Okay? Or postpone their impact. All right? So, as above, so below, as below, so above. Okay? So, the planetary bodies, etc., their cosmic uh, or electromagnetic effect on consciousness, personality, phenotype, outcomes in life, good and evil. All right. And then also the impact as above, so below, as below, so above. Okay. So these are actually quite literally mirror reflections. Right. You look in the mirror, you get the opposite, as above, so below, as below, so above. So it's a mirror reflection. In fact, in medicine, we use that term quite frequently. Something is a reflection. So page 167. And this is, I'm excited about this is because this is the first instance in this chapter where I can definitely uh, identify someone. Now, one of the complaints I have about this chapter, this author, is that his descriptions are very vague, very, very vague. But here on page 167, talking about the moon, people's phenotype, uh, experiences in life, listen to this. If any impediment to the moon in a question, I think he's talking about a horary question, like a yes or no answer question, but I'm not sure. Or nativity, so I think he's talking about a horary question. Or nativity birth chart. She is the moon, usually signifies some blemish, usually signifies, usually results in some blemish, some blemish in or drooping of an eye. So a blemish in the eye or a drooping, a drooping of an eye. And so we're going to take a look at some of this. Okay, on or near one. Okay, so it can be a blemish in the eye itself, a drooping of the eye, or a blemish near your eye. So let's take a look at that. These are good pictures. All right, so these are good pictures. Take a look at that. Okay, so if any impediment to the moon in a question or nativity, the moon usually signifies some blemish or drooping of an eye. All right, that's actually a quite good example. That's quite a good example. Let's see if we can find something else. Here's another good example. All right. And here's another one. So when I was in India, a lot of people take this very seriously, even though there are a lot of charlatans. Wait a second. There's other types. Hold on, let me show y'all something else. Y'all see that? Okay, so this is very easy to recognize. Okay, very easy to recognize. Okay, y'all? So near the eye would include the eyebrow, the eyelid, etc. Okay? Immediately below the eye. All right? Here's another one. Y'all see it? Everybody see it? All right. So in the eye or near the eye. So I'm trying to find another one involving the eyebrow. So something like this. I think you guys get the point, right? I think you get the point. I think it's abundantly clear. Uh, See, inability to wrinkle the brow, it's frozen. Okay, y'all? So let's see. Here we go. Yes. There you go. See, a blemish near the eye. Near the eye. All right? Here's another one. So these are very good images. These are a result of any impediment to the moon in a hornary question or nativity. Okay? So, but there, let me see if I can find another one for you. Ah, here's another one. That's a blemish in the eye. That's in the eye. This is a blemish in the eye. All right. So let's see if we see anything else. Ah, here's another one. Well, that one might not be so easy to recognize. Ah, here we go. Blemishes in the eye, and then there are more. I think the point is made well, so I'm going to continue. But notice it continues. It continues. A blemish near the eye, if she be in succeeded houses. But if unfortunate in an angle, so if the moon be in an angle and with nebulous stars, then there will be a blemish in the sight, or in other words, a reduced vision, or maybe even blindness. Okay, so a blemish in the sight, or actually maybe the person sees double vision, or can only see vision out of the left side of the eye, but the right side of his vision field he can't see, something like that. But there's so many possibilities. Oh, here's a good one. Oh, this is a good one. Y'all see it? It's very clear, right? Very, very clear. Easy to identify if you see it. Very easy to identify this if you see it. Now let's continue. Page 168. Among others, the moon rules over travelers. Well, travelers are navigators. Moors are navigators. To navigate, you need to understand geometry. You need to understand geometry. Okay, geo, and then metry, measure of the earth. So measurements of the earth, the only way that's possible is what? By the heavenly bodies. Through the heavenly bodies, right? You form triangles. Y'all see it? Form triangles. At some point, we're going to take a look at the tools. But also, I have some information I want to share with y'all, but just not quite yet. Okay, pilgrims. Pilgrims. So let's take a look at, and by the way, navigators, there's a relationship between navigators and astronauts. I don't remember what it is, but I remember I taught it before. In fact, I taught it last year, maybe a year or two ago. I don't remember right now. Hmm. Nautical miles. That's the relationship. Nautical. Navigation, nautical, astronauts. Okay. So these would be uh, navigators of the stars, right? Or navigators of space. Okay. So you can you can find the relationships with these words. So pilgrims. Give me one moment, y'all. Let me see what we can do with it. Pilgrim, pilgrimage, BibleStudyTools.com, International Standard Bible Encyclopedia, Pilgrim Pilgrimage, Pil-Grim, Pil-Grimma, in English it's pilgrim. Sojournings, traveler. Contains the idea of foreign residence, of foreign residence. But it is the residence and not travel that is implied. Oh, so if the pilgrims were foreigners, then that means that their descendants are also foreigners, right? Means their descendants are also foreigners, foreigner to the Moors, foreigners to the Moors, right? Whose nativity is the Americas. All right, specifically Al-Aqsa. Northwest of Mexico. So here, what should come to your mind is diversity of citizenship, right? Diversity of citizenship should come into your mind. This is civics. Diversity of citizenship. Consequently, pilgrim is a poor translation, and sojourn or sojourner, sojourning should be used throughout. This is talking about in the Biblio-Heliotext. Okay? Huh. This is something very interesting. In the New Testament, passages, heaven is thought of as contrasted, permanent dwelling place. In the New Testament, heaven is thought of as the contrasted, permanent dwelling place, while the Old Testament usages seems to be without a contrast definitely in mind. But why is that interesting? It's interesting because it's talking about heaven. Heaven in the New Testament is different than the Old Testament. Okay? So let's see if there's anything else. All right, so we're done with that. So now let's look at pilgrim from a different point of view. So in my opinion, it's always best to look in the book of the law, the Hebrew scripture, the New Testament first, because it's the Judeo-Christian legal system. Okay, so it's all supposed to come out of the book of the law, and the New Testament, the prophets, etc., are supposed to come out of the book of the law. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. So these are the images I come up with when I Google Pilgrim American history. All right, so these would be the foreigners, the pale faces. So why is it important? Well, because if they're foreign, that means they don't have a birthright to the American land. Y'all see that? Everybody see it? So they cannot inherit land. So since they cannot inherit land, the only way they can get land is through what? Trickery. Unless someone lets them use it, because remember, land cannot be bought or sold. You find that in the book of the law, right? The Most High says all the land belongs to me. I'm paraphrasing. Y'all just borrowing it, or you all are just sharecropping it. You can sell the number of harvests remaining until Jubilee. You can sell that. In other words, you can sell the use of the land, but you're not selling the land. You're only selling the harvest. And then when the Jubilee comes, well, you get your estate back, right? And any debts, any public debts and things like that are gone away, right? They're gone. They're no longer debts, okay? So I hope this is clear. So that means that they chose the option of trickery, which is Escheat, right? Get you to abandon your birthright. Escheat and Attainder. Y'all see it? All right, so what does this have to do? Well, the pilgrims brought war and they brought religion. So that's a massive, these are massive changes, right? So we're dealing with the moon, change. They brought a new message. Remember what the moon does? The moon goes from house to house, picking up the news and sharing the news. Okay, so pilgrims, sailors, fishmongers, and fishermen, brewers, tapsters, letter carriers, messages, right? Coachmen, huntsmen, messengers, drunkards, moisture, okay, oystermen, charwoman or carewoman, scrub women, hawkers, hawkers in the street, hawkers in the street, midwives, nurses. So that's clear, midwives and nurses, right? The baby's gonna come out, the water breaks. So moisture, water. The moon rules over water and moisture. Nurses, watermen, water bearers, and milk dealers. So water bearers, when I saw water bearers, I immediately thought about Aquarius, the zodiac sign Aquarius, in the Bible scripture where Jesus says, go into, you'll see a man, hold on, the, you'll see a man carrying a water jar. Go into his house. Okay, Luke 22, verse 10. He answered, quote unquote, when you enter the city, a man carrying a jug of water will meet you. Follow him to the house that he enters. So this is what came to my mind when I saw water bearer. This scripture here. All right, y'all? And of course, this is referencing Aquarius, the zodiac sign Aquarius. 1 second, y'all. Trying to find a good image. Now, y'all should know that Aquarius is gender neutral or androgynous. Okay, so y'all see that? The water jar. So let's see. All right, so here's a image. Okay. So is there a relationship? And then also milk dealers. Milk. Why? Milk because it's a liquid. Moisture, right? Milk dealers. So where are they getting the milk? Women, animals. So this is my black coffee with honey. Let me check my connection. Do y'all hear music? If y'all hear music, can you put a 1 in the comment section? I don't want to get the video taken down. There's some lady playing loud music. And it's quite unfortunate that, hold on. So I try to open, for some reason y'all see I can't open. I don't know what the deal is. Whenever I'm not able to watch the video on my other device. Y'all see that? It won't open. Y'all see that? I always have a problem when I go live. Always technological problem. So I'm not able to check if I have a signal or communicate. So let's see now. All right, okay, cool. No, that's not it. Can y'all hear that? She's listening to Michael Jackson. I hope y'all put a 1 in the comment section if you cannot hear music, please. I hope she goes. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Very weird looking chick. All right, y'all. She left. I hope she doesn't come back. All right, let's keep it going. Okay, but keep in mind, water bearers and milk dealers. Keep milk in mind. You might see milk again. Now, before we go forward, uh, also keep in mind that it says here on page 167, when ill dignified, the moon represents a mere vagabond. This would be those pilgrims, idle, a drunkard, and a sot or sot rather. This would be someone who looks and acts drunk all the time. One of no spirit or forecast. So that's the mindset of a criminal. That's the mindset of a criminal. I hope you will agree, because they're not going to work for it. They just want to take it, generally speaking. Delighting to live beggarly or carelessly. So I think most people are familiar with the history of the colonizers on our land, begging, robbing, and stealing, even stooping as low as digging up graves and eating corpses. I mean, they still do that now, don't they? They're eating the what do you call it? The mummies in Kemet on the other side of the ocean. One content in no condition in life, either good or ill. So these would be what we used to call them when I was younger, rednecks, right? Rednecks, poor white trash, and niggas. Okay, that's what we used to call them. Okay, page 168. Continue. The sicknesses of the moon are apoplexy, palsy, colic, bellyache, all diseases in the left side. So that's key. All diseases in the left side. Testes. So that's the man's regenerative power. Bladder. That's key, right? Bladder. That's where your urine will collect for you to excrete it out, pee it out. And organs of generation. So that would be the ovaries and the testes, right? The menstruals, so the woman's menstrual cycle, the menstruation, and liver in women, and liver in women. Okay, so y'all know the liver gets all the blood, neutralizes all of the toxins. The liver is an incredibly busy organ. Dropsies, fluxes, or loose bowels, all cold, rheumatic troubles, cold stomach, gout in wrists and feet, cystica, worms, y'all, worms. So worms takes you right back to fall, fall and early winter, fall and early winter. Remember, uh, evil and good, light and dark, spring equinox, fall equinox. Fall equinox represents Set, the deity Set, right? Horus, evil brother, the devil, Set, the devil. In nature, it's the time of the year where the sun is falling. Therefore, the number of daylight hours are decreasing and the number of nighttime hours are increasing. In other words, the devil is overpowering Jesus. The devil is winning. Y'all see it? The devil is winning. Because time, the number of nighttime hours are increasing and the number of daylight hours are decreasing. So what's happening? Well, the fruit that have ripened, a lot of that is going to fall to the ground. Okay? So it's going to deteriorate or biodegrade. It's going to biodegrade. But some people will eat rotten fruit unknowingly. Boris, Islam to all the Moors, Assalamu alaikum. Okay, y'all? All right. So it's going to biodegrade. Worms are going to get into a lot of the fruit. A lot. Parasites are going to get into the fruit. Okay, and all of this is going to result in cholera for some man or child, some woman who comes along and eats that fruit. But even if it's a fruit that appears to be ripe on the tree, if it has a worm or parasites in it, uh, uh, well, then you might get cholera, especially if you're eating bad fruit. Okay, y'all? So the worm, so you should also remember the worm, we're dealing here with the moon. So a worm looks like a snake, looks like a snake. So what should come to mind? Serpent woman, the serpent woman. Isis, Virgo. Okay, y'all? Let me see if I can find an image for y'all. Serpent woman. Let's see what we find. So serpent woman and astrology. Or mythology. Let's see. It's no good images. No good images. Let me go to Egypt. Let me try Egypt. Kemet. I'm not sure about this. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. Well, the serpent woman is Virgo, but I don't see a good image. There's no good image. But you can think of her as Virgo. Serpent woman, Virgo. Okay? So a worm is like a serpent in terms of its appearance, okay? All right. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. By the way, scholars, don't be too concerned about the accuracy of your uh, associations. Okay? The important thing now is to get used to making associations, integrating and correlating the different sciences. Get used to it so that it becomes a habit. That's what's important. So it continues, it continues, it continues. Worms in children or grown persons. Groans and hurts in the eyes. So the moon has to do a lot about the eyes, right? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? The moon has a lot to do with the eyes. As we've seen, as we've seen. So this takes me back to Mark chapter 4, when the apostles questioned Jesus about why he always spoke to the masses of people who follow him in parables. And what was it that JC said? The historical Jesus, what did he say? He said that although having eyes to see, they never perceive. They never perceive. Now, is that a blemish in the eye or near the eye? Or is that a problem with the sight? Y'all tell me, is that a problem with the sight? Make the connection. Make the connection. Well, we can eliminate a blemish near the eye. We can eliminate that, right? Again, Jesus said, so that having eyes to see, that implies normal anatomy, normal physiology. Your sight is functioning. It doesn't say it's perfect, but it's good enough for you to be able to perceive what's in front of you, what you're looking at. But JC blocks it. Although having eyes to see, they cannot perceive. Let's look up the word perceive. As a matter of fact, let's go to the Bible Hub. Make it more specific, okay? So we'll approach this in two ways. Let's go to the interlinear rather. Mark 4 interlinear Bible Hub. I think it's verse 12 or thereabout, right? 9, 12. Okay, so this is Strong's number 3708, Greek. Okay, Greek 3708. What does it say here? Hold on. All right, here we are. To see, perceive, attend to. Okay, it says usage, I see, look upon, experience, perceive, discern. So although you have eyes to see, you'll never discern. So that's a problem with your what? Ability to discern. I'm going to come back to that. Y'all don't let me forget that. Come back to discern. And then it says beware. Let me show y'all. It says beware. So if he takes away your ability to beware, what does that mean? Although having eyes to see, You'll never beware. What does that mean? I mean, you can't protect yourself. You're put in a naive, stupefied state. But let's go through this. Y'all have to forgive me. This wide lens camera makes it very difficult. Let's see what we can see. So your ability to discern is corrupted. The Christians always talk about what, y'all? What the older man has the ability to discern right from wrong. Well, here JC said he took that away from you. Just like a boxer might take away your left hook, take away his opponent's jab, take away his opponent's right hand. So now the fighter becomes just an average fighter and gets spanked in the ring. Why? Because his best punch was taken away from him. Y'all remember Bernard Hopkins? Bernard Hopkins, I remember him best. Because he would always tell you, he couldn't hit me with it because I took it away from him. Y'all see it? So our sight is the dominant sense or sensory, the dominant sense that we use to navigate through our environment, the sight. JC took that away from you. He took that overhand right away. Can y'all imagine Floyd Mayweather without his overhand right? Can you imagine him without his Philly shell? What if someone took that away from him? Well, he'd be an average fighter. He wouldn't be Floyd Mayweather. He wouldn't be Money Man, right? So your ability to discern, to think, your critical thinking faculty or ability, your analytical thinking faculty or ability, both have been taken away from you through your Jesus. Talking about the historical Jesus. Of course, these are not historical, but you know what I'm talking about. Historical as opposed to astrological. Y'all see it? Now you should understand. You should understand why the Christian, the Hebrew Israelite, is so easily misled. And why they don't want to hear anything but Jesus crucified. And Jesus goes, my big brother gonna save me. These kind of things. Because their critical and analytical thinking faculties have been taken away from them intentionally through the doctrine of the historical Jesus, which of course is nothing more than the dark priesthood. Okay, nothing more than the dark priesthood. So y'all not following Jesus, y'all following the doctrine of the dark priesthood. Okay? As much as you might not like that, but that is the truth. So let's continue. To see, perceive, attend to. Let's see if there are any. Okay, so it says here, beware, recognize. So you won't be able to recognize danger, right? There's a lion in front of you. No, let's not use a lion because y'all will start thinking the lion of the tribe of Judah, and and all of that. Let's say there is a what's a danger? Y'all know a really dangerous animal, a hippopotamus. There's a hippo in front of you. Okay, there's a hippo in front of you, and its babies are near. And the hippo sees you as a threat. And y'all know how massive and huge a hippo is and its mouth, right? These things can pick up an alligator, a big alligator with its mouth, and crush it. You don't see a hippo. You don't see a hippo at all. You see a beautiful little pretty cat. I think I thought a pretty cat. That's what you see. You don't see the danger. You don't see this venomous, dark priest who's using you, who's living off of you, sucking you dry. You don't see that. You see a wonderful, nice pastor who says beautiful, flowery words. You don't see a villain and a criminal and a user. Because if your critical and analytical functions were working, you see that criminal, that villain, that user for what he is. You would see the contradictions in both the Old and the New Testament. You would see them for what they are, from a literary point of view. You would see it. Okay, and then you'd be able to use your critical thinking faculty of mind and get to the bottom of it. But you cannot, because you have, as it were, scales over your eyes. Now he continues. The others are not worth going through. Let me continue, y'all. Hold on. So let's go to discernment. This is a good one because the Christians are always talking about discernment and whose doctrine is wrong because they don't have discernment. You know, all of this narcissistic stuff, in my opinion. Christians and Hebrew Israelites. Discernment, according to the Webster's Dictionary, the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure, skill in discerning. Wait a minute. Comprehend, your comprehension skills are weak? How about reading comprehension? So obscure, dark, shrouded or hidden by darkness, not clearly seen or easily distinguished, faint. These would be matters where you need to do what, y'all? You need to use your analytical faculty of mind. You need to use a critical functions of or critical thinking skills. Your critical thinking faculty of the mind. You need to use it to come to a reasonable or logical conclusion or to comprehend something. And that has been taken away from you, Hebrew Israelites, and away from you, Christians. Through what? Well, of course, Jeremiah 8:8. They wrote lies in the book of the law, and they made the book of the law into a religious book. I'm paraphrasing. Why did they do it? So that although having eyes to see, although having all of your intellectual faculties of mind intact. Everything's functioning well. Although having eyes to see, you can't perceive, you can't discern. See, they got you under a spell. That was why they did that. So next time a Christian tells you or a Hebrew Israelite talks to you about their ability to discern, or somebody else got the wrong doctrine because something's wrong with their power of discernment, or they have a superior ability to discern, or any of that nonsense with the Hebrew Israelites and Christians pushing their doctrine. Well, you might want to keep this in mind. You might want to keep this in mind. And if they are clear-headed, it's probably because, one, first, they are a perfect man, meaning that they were selected, elected through their Freemasonry lodge or whatever secret society that they are in to enter into the higher degrees where they were taught astrotheology. And they ain't gonna tell you. All right? Number one reason. Number two reason, they found out somehow, one way or another, and they ain't gonna tell you. It's too profitable. You saw them, let's say 5 years ago, 7 years ago, before they started their ministry, they were thin. You see them right now, they got a big old fat belly and a fat face. And a big YouTube channel with a lot of followers, right? Preaching the newest flavor of Christianity, Hebrew Israelitism. And now they're fat, living large. If they ain't gonna tell you, you can believe that. If they were, they would have already. Okay, so another word for obscure is relatively unknown. Of course, the astrotheology of these things is almost unknown to almost all people. All right? So obscure, verb, to make dark, dim, or indistinct. Okay, isn't that what JC did to you? Although having eyes to see, you can't perceive, so he made it dark. By the way, y'all, dark is a metaphor for ignorant, stupid, dumb. To conceal or hide by, or as if by, covering. So Christ, let me not say Christ, this historical Jesus character is concealing or hiding information from you by covering what? Covering it. How do they cover it? Well, through literary means. The most prominent is etymology. They can use a root word from 3, 4, 5 different languages. Patch them together. And it's one word, and you don't know that. It's one word in English. But in actuality, when you look at the etymology of it, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 words from different languages. And you need to look up the meaning for each of those words in each of those languages to understand the game they played on you. Also through grammar rules. Okay? Also through grammar rules. Okay? Also through context. Right? And then of course also through philology, which involves a little bit more than what we just discussed. Okay, y'all? And then hidden history, the mythological history, they pretend like that's not there. All right, y'all? So here we see right in the text that JC, the Christ figure, has practiced fraud. against you. Why? Because he concealed something that you have a right to know and that he has a duty and an obligation to tell you. Why? Because he's claiming to be, or y'all been taught. Let me restate that. Y'all been taught that he said he's your savior. If he is God, he has a duty to tell you. Not a duty to lie to you, not a duty to mislead you, but a duty to tell you the truth. And he did not do that. What did he do? He intentionally misled you by talking to you in parables. By talking to you in parables, he intentionally deceived you, intentionally misled you. Why? Well, he told you. He said, because although having eyes to see, they will never perceive, meaning that I'm going to, JC speaking, I'm going to disrupt or uncouple their eyes from their mind. They'll no longer have the ability to discern, to use their faculty of critical thinking and analytical thinking. And both of those are, critical thinking is different from analytical thinking. I'm going to shut it off. And then although having ears to hear, they won't understand. Wow. Well, your sense of your hearing, your sense of hearing is the number 2 most important sense that we use to navigate through the physical world. So he took that away from you intentionally. Why? Why? But we're still talking about the moon, y'all. Still talking about the moon. Why did he do it? So that you'll never have a chance to repent. So that you will never repent. And if you don't repent, y'all, what happens to those who are unrepentant? Depending on your doctrine, you go to hell and you burn forever and ever and ever and ever, ever, ever. You burn. You burn forever. Or you experience eternal death, no second resurrection for you, right? And that's what happens. So you cannot be saved. So Jesus, this historical Jesus, intentionally deceived you so that you will burn in hell, or so that you would die forever. And commerce, if you go to hell, of course, you're a debtor. You go to debtor's prison. And you're going to stay in debtor's prison forever. In other words, he did it to rob you of your birthright, your inheritance. Your inheritance, which includes the tangible and the intangibles. The land and everything on the land, the resources, everything on the land, everything under the land, everything above the land, including your rights. But he did you even one worse than that. America. But he did you one worse than that. He took your mind. He put you at the level of an animal. Let me say it again. He put you at the level of an animal. You have no critical thinking skills. You have no analytical thinking skills. Right? You are subjugated. A bondman and a bondwoman in finance and in your church. And in your community. You are non-descendable. Everybody see this? So JC, out of his own mouth, concealed, which means he hid information from you. How did he do it? By covering it over. How did he cover it over? Through language, through the power of the pen, Hollywood, the magic wand. All right, y'all got it? Through these fake stories. Okay, Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8. That's how he did it. We're talking about the moon. So now, y'all, let's continue. All right. So remember, we're talking about sicknesses of the moon are wounds and hurts in the eyes, i.e., the left eye of a man and a right eye of a woman. Y'all know what just came to my mind? There's a verse where JC talks about if you have to go through, uh, enter into the kingdom of heaven with one eye. Y'all remember that verse? If we thought about it, we could figure the astro-theological relationship of that verse here. Let me make a note of that. One day, if I get time, I'm gonna investigate that. So hold on, let me make this note. So I'm writing, enter into kingdom of the heaven. Enter into kingdom of heaven with one eye. All right, y'all. So with the man, it's the right eye. No, I'm sorry. With the man, it's the left eye. And the woman, it's the right eye. Y'all see it? Now, I wonder how this might relate to civics. But anyway, let's keep it moving. King's evil. King's evil. Uh, this goes back to the Middle Ages, where the kings allegedly would see people who were, let me share this with y'all. They would see people who were allegedly ill and attempt to cure them. Oh, wait. Ah, so this is royal sickness. My bad, y'all. But I think what I said was right. I think there's more to this. So this is TB, King's evil TB, tuberculosis, and royal sickness. So let's see. All right, King's evil. From the Latin morbus regis, meaning royal sickness, more commonly known as scrofula, or medically tuberculosis. Tuberculosis, TB. Ah, yeah, okay, I was right. Was a skin disease believed to be cured by the touch of the monarch. Can y'all believe that? So these heathens believed that tuberculosis could be healed by the touch of the monarch, by the touch of the king, as part of their inherited divine powers. Do you see how Christianity took away their common sense? Do y'all see that? Because that poor sick person who believed that, what would he would have done? What would a man give in return for his soul? He's looking at that monarch, at that king, as his only or best choice to stay alive. What would a man give in exchange for his soul? Y'all see it? Y'all see it? Christ the King. The King is ruling because it is Christ or God's will for him to rule. Y'all see that? So what would a man give? Do you think he'll give you his land? Absolutely. Will he give you his entire estate to live? Absolutely. What if it doesn't work? Well, you ASS out of luck. What are they most likely going to tell you? Well, it didn't work because you don't have faith. Right? Go develop your faith, and then you'll get the result. But now you're on the street, sleeping on the street. Now you're trying to get a boat to put yourself into to put yourself in an indentured situation over in the Americas because you got robbed by the church, and you ain't getting no refund. Okay, apostemy, smallpox, and measles. Of color, the moon rules over white. Okay, milk is white. Milk can be a yellowish color. Okay, so the moon rules over white or pale yellowish. A white or pale yellowish white. Pale green. Pale green. Y'all ever saw pus? Just like a yellow green color, or uh, when your nose runs, it comes out green, or you cough up phlegm, it comes out green. Or a little of the silver color. Y'all see that? Okay, so the next paragraph, we're going to get into herbs, which is especially interesting, y'all. Anytime you can get some info on herbs and luminaries and planets, you should pay special attention to it. Keep it. Keep it. Because remember, this is the restoration of our heritage. But it's not just knowing it, it's being able to use it of savors or flavors, the fresh without any flavor. So these herbs that don't have any flavor when they're fresh, such as herbs before they are ripe. So herbs before they are ripe, that has to do with what? Before July, or maybe even before August. But remember, we get the wheat and the barley harvest in August. Okay, so it would be summertime, springtime. Okay, what the heck? Let me close that out. That was those herbs which are subject to the moon. Okay, here we are, y'all. Take notes. This is page 168. You might want to underline these. Those herbs which are subject to the moon have thick, juicy leaves of a waterish or slightly sweetish taste. Okay, now that's very good information. We can easily identify these type of herbs. And I'm wondering if cactus, you know what came to my mind? Cactus. Also, aloe vera came to my mind because when you open them, they ooze. You can see fluid oozing out of them. And they're also thick, right? Let's see. They are also thick. I'm trying to find some leaves for y'all. There's no good, I don't see any good 3D leaves. Oh, here's one. Y'all Google search it. But anyway, let's continue. So they have thick, juicy leaves of a whitish or slightly sweetish taste. So I know the cactus leaf very well. Love to grow in watery places. So that would eliminate cactus. Cactus doesn't love to grow in watery places. So that's the key. Love to grow in watery places. And grow quickly into a juicy magnitude. So they grow fast. They are the colewort or cauliflower, cabbage, melon. So watermelon, y'all, the different melons, gourd, pumpkin, squash, onion, mandrake. Now, so y'all remember the Bible story with, dealing with the mandrake? Okay, so let's continue. Mushroom. Why mushroom? Mushroom is full of copper, has a lot of copper. Mushroom is very good for your brain. Also, your nervous system, for your nerves. Endive or artichoke, purslane, and the like. So let's take a look at mandrake. Mandrake. Hold on, y'all. So everyone should remember the Bible story and where the mandrake was mentioned, right? One second, y'all. One second, y'all. Okay, so let's go to mandrake. Let's go to man. So these are clues, scholars. These are clues when you read uh, the book of the law. These are uh, these are clues that can help you spot astrology in the Bible. So, so this is supposed to be mandrakes in Kemet. Give me 1 second. All right. So take a look at what the mandrake is. Everybody see that? All right. Now let's look at the mandrake in Genesis. Hold on. Let's see if I can find an image, a good image. Huh. Hey, y'all. This doesn't have anything to do with the topic, but take a look at this image. Can y'all decode that? Can y'all decode that? This is supposed to be Moses with the two stone tablets. Look at his head. Look at what's emanating from his head. Some Bibles will translate that. I'm doing this because it's fun. Some Bibles will say that when Moses came out of the mountain, his face shone, right? His face shone because he was up there with the Most High, right? So his face shone. Y'all see that? Other Bibles will translate it as he came out with two horns. Two horns in his head. We covered this maybe 1 or 2 classes ago. So here it appears to be what? A combination. A combination of those translations. He has what appears to be 2 beams of light, of sunlight, emanating from his head as if horns. Y'all see it? And the 2 tablets of the law. Y'all see that? The 2 tablets of the law written by the finger of God. So tablet, 2 tablets of the law, the message, right? The law is a message from Moses to the Israelites. That's the story, right? So the law is a thought. Thought is function of the mind, which is the first Hermetic law. Thought in English comes from thought, the Kemetic deity thought, right? The English word thought comes from the Kemetic deity thought. Thought is what? Thought is Thoth is what? Famous for his pen and his what? Writing table. Moses is famous for the tablets of the law. Okay? Moses, in this case, was a mediator or Mercury. Mercury is the first planet, or the closest planet to the sun, rather. So therefore, Mercury is what? In the bosom of the Father. Right? All that light, all that glory shining on Mercury, all that light, all that glory shining on Moses, so that his face shone. All right? You could also call this what? In ancient times, before it became negative, before it became scandalized, you could say what? Black Moses. In other words, the glorified Moses, the shining, brilliant Moses, in terms of the denotative meaning of the word. All right. Of course, black has been changed. There's a connotative meaning now. Do y'all see it? All right. Let's go back to, I forgot where we were. Oh, mandrakes. Mandrakes. Well, that was fun. Mandrakes. Oh, boy. Bible study tools. Why does this keep coming up at the top of my list? Okay, it says mandrakes. Do them, i.e., love plants. Love plants. Mandrakes love plants. It has been rendered violets, lilies, jasmine, truffles, or mushrooms, flowers, the citron, etc. Give me 1 second. It possesses stimulating and narcotic properties. Okay, the scripture cited is Genesis chapter 30, verse 14 through 16. The fruit of this plant resembles the potato apple in size and is of a pale orange color. It has been called the love apple. The Arabs call it Satan's apple. Satan, Lucifer, right? Lucifer, light. All right, so now let's go to a different a meaning. One moment. Okay, Genesis chapter 30, verse 14. During wheat harvest, so that's August. That's August. All right, the beginning, is that the end of summer or the beginning of fall, y'all? And today it would be August. Okay. During wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." Listen to this, y'all. Then Rachel said to Leah, "Please." Then Rachel said to Leah, this is the King James Bible. Listen to the length, to the verbiage. Then Rachel said to Leah, "Give me, I pray thee, of thy son's mandrakes." I pray thee, I pray. Isn't that language that you would hear in writs? I pray, right, y'all? Isn't that the language? The Judeo-Christian legal system is it's lifted right up out of the book of the law, etc. Okay, King James New Version. Then Rachel said to Leah, quote unquote, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." Let's go to the more old, to the very old. Hold on. Before we do that, hold on. I'm looking for what I want to show y'all. Mandrakes love apples. Oh, here it is. Well, here's something. Okay, in the days of wheat harvest, this is mentioned to fix the time. Now here it's saying, namely early in May. So where on earth is the harvest in May? Well, they say that all of the stuff happened in the Bible happened over in what's now called Africa, right? Where Israel is today. But that's not true. Not true at all. Y'all should watch the video that I did called "The Location of the Promised Land According to Moses." This is just an outright lie, intentional deception. But anyway, how can the harvest be in May? January, February, March, April, May. How can you have a harvest then? Unless you're in what? Unless you are in a part of the world where there's only rainy and dry season. As a matter of fact, I never thought of this before. Let me check something, y'all. It said May, right? Let's see. So I'm looking at globalhighlights.com. Israel weather in May. Perfectly warm and dry. All right. So May marks the beginning of the summer months in Israel. You can expect it to be warm and dry. There is practically no chance of it raining, and there will be plenty of sunshine to accompany you during your adventures in the Holy Land during the month of May. May lies in between the off season and the high season insofar as tourism is concerned. I'm not interested in tourism. Hold on. So just to make sure, let me type in harvest season. There's one other possibility. I'm gonna share it with y'all. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the spring harvest. Various herbs and legumes were harvested in spring, but the most important spring crops were cereals. Okay, so let's get past that. Barley and wheat were planted in the autumn and ripened in spring. Barley and wheat were planted in the autumn and ripened in spring. Okay. The first fruits of grain offered during the festival of unleavened bread would have been barley, da 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 da. Hold on. Wheat ripens later than barley. Give me 1 second. Yeah, let me see if I can find this by month without going through all of that. Seasons and months in Israel. This should be it. Now, I'm telling y'all, there's no such thing as a winter, summer, spring, and fall, except for in North America, where there's 4 seasons. In other parts of the world, it's rainy season and dry season, okay? Or it's winter, or some other combination, but not 4 seasons, okay? So let's see, seasons. Ah, okay, the 2 seasons. There you go. The 2 seasons. In Israel, the yearly cycle with its 4 seasons are not as clearly marked as the lands to the north of it. But to the Jew, every season was a special time and a reminder of the promises of God. I don't want to hear that. Let's see. Okay. Uh, as he said to Noah, as God said to Noah, quote unquote, seed time and harvest. Seed time, that's spring when you plant, and harvest So that would be fall. Cold, that would be winter. And summer. It says, and heat. Look, y'all. So where can that be? I've been in Southeast Asia for the past 20 years. I think 20 years. I can assure you, Southeast Asia does not have 4 seasons, and neither does Africa. Let me read it again. But to the Jew, every season was a special time and a reminder of the purposes of God, of the promises of God. As he said to Noah, seed time. When do you plant seeds? In the spring. And harvest. When do you harvest? Well, you harvest after summer, which is the fall, right? Today, that's August and September. Seed time, so there'll always be spring, there'll always be fall, cold and heat, summer and winter. Summer is a season, winter is a season. That's 4 seasons. What's cold? I tell you what cold is. Sometime in Vietnam, you need to wear a jacket. Sometimes it's very hot. You want to take all your clothes off. Okay, y'all? So in Southeast Asia, in Africa, it's rainy season and dry season, period. So the orientation has to be North America, where there's winter, summer, spring, and fall. And people who are aware of astrology and astrotheology, everybody knows that. That's why there has been a purposeful or intentional attempt to confuse people about the 4 seasons. Y'all know they got people in Philippines, all over Southeast Asia talking about winter, summer, spring, and fall in their country. And it used to confuse me. Like, what are you talking about? It's winter time. You know? It's raining. How is this winter? But they do that. I mean, some of them do it trying to, they think that the West is better. So they try to adjust their stuff to the West, which is so sad. But anyway, let's continue before I lose my thought. Though the Bible specifically mentions summer, winter, spring, and autumn, 4 seasons, the orientation is North America. How can North America be the new world? Y'all see? Critical thinking skills. How can North America be the new world when North America has 4 seasons? And the Bible is talking about 4 seasons. Though the Bible specifically mentions summer, winter, spring, and autumn, it may come as a surprise to note that the Bible never mentions 4 seasons, but only 2. Nope, not true. We just saw that, y'all. We just saw that out of Moses' own mouth, right? The Hebrew word stave, S-T-A-V, translated today as autumn, is mentioned only once in the Bible, in the Song of Solomon. Now let's continue. It says, stave really speaks of the time of the winter rains. How can you have winter rains, y'all? Use your critical thinking mind. Does it rain in the winter? If it's winter? If it rains in the winter, you got trouble, right? Because all of that is going to freeze. No, there's snow in the winter. Due to industrial or due to pollution, you may have some days that are abnormally or uncharacteristically warm. Yeah, and if there's precipitation, that's going to come as rain, right? And then that's going to freeze over. That's when you get black ice and, all kind of accidents, all kind of problems. But rain is not characteristic of winter. Okay? So he's talking about reference to Song of Solomon. Let me read it. For lo, the winter is past. You got eyes to see? Can you perceive? Can you discern? Can you discern? Or do you believe this garbage? Listen, the word stave, translated today as autumn, is mentioned only once in the Bible, in the Song of Solomon. This is Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Quote, for lo, the winter is past. The rain is over and gone. Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Now, y'all, is it rain in the winter or is it snow in the winter? Use your brain. The winter is past. The rain is over and gone. Do y'all see the finesse? Do y'all see what's happening here? What they did with this Hollywood? With this magic wand? The winter, let me translate this more correctly. This is simple. The winter has passed. The snow is over and gone. Listen, quote unquote, stave, S-T-A-V, really, really speaks of the time of the winter rains. The winter rains? Absolutely not. Now, I've heard of spring rains. I've heard of spring rains, right? We get the rains in the fall too, right? We get rain in the fall. But the rains are characteristic of what seasons? Rain characterizes spring, critical thinking skills. See, JC may have you in a state where your faculty of critical thinking has been shut off, but not me. And I hope you can say the same thing that I just said. I hope you can say that JC may have you in a state where your faculty of critical thinking has been shut off, but not me. Okay, y'all? So this deserves to be looked at closer. All you got to do is go into the all you have to do uh, is go into the interlinear and study these words, okay? But anyway, let's listen to the finesse a little bit more. I mean, this stuff can be so comical. Quote unquote, stave really speaks of, say, I'm gonna tell you, you trust me, right? This is what the scribe, this is what Jeremiah 8:8, the scribe, remember? Jeremiah 8:8. How can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us? How can you say we are learned in its language, ancient Ibaryath, and teachings? When the fact is, what? The scribes wrote lies into the book of the law. They wrote lies in the book of the law and made it into a religious book. Y'all see it? Stav really thinks of the time of the winter rains. The Hebrew word aviv, quote unquote aviv, translated today as spring, is mentioned twice in the Bible, both referring to the stage in the ripening of barley rather than a season. Now, y'all, here we go. We can easily work this out if we gave it some thought. All you need to do is go back to the zodiacal age. If you wanted to waste your time, You can go back to the zodiacal age. That's all. So right now, we're either in Aquarius or approaching the end of Pisces. The way you can find out is on the first day of spring. Let me restate that. The morning of the last day of winter. All right? That's better. Go anywhere between 23.5 degrees north and 23.5 degrees south. Go anywhere in that band. We call it the coffee belt, okay? At about 5:30 in the morning, just look toward the east. And whatever constellation rises up that you see at the horizon, that's going to tell you the zodiacal age that we're in. Y'all got it? So if you want to know whether we are in Aquarius or Pisces, just go there. Next spring, you go there. Okay? Or y'all finance it and I'll go there. My you can send a donation for that service on my to my Patreon, or you can donate on my website, or you can donate on PayPal. My PayPal. The links are in the description area of my recent videos. Okay? And then I'll tell you the zodiac sign, the zodiacal age rather that we're in. Okay? Each zodiacal age is approximately, let's round it off, about 2,500 2,560 years thereabout. Some people say 2,600 years thereabout. Okay, so you go back, uh, let's say one zodiacal age. Let's say if we just entered into Aquarius, of course Pisces, and then go back another one, Taurus, etc., until spring, until the harvest occurs in the spring, like this guy is saying. So like they're saying in this article. That's a waste of time. Why? Because the orientation is in the place where there are four seasons. Yeah, they got a good reason to hide this information about the four seasons, because once you know it's four seasons, well, now you know the Americas is the old world. The Americas is not the new world. Okay, so now the Hebrew word aviv, translated today as spring, is mentioned twice in the Bible, but both referring to a stage and ripening of barley rather than a season. Well, the barley ripens in August. In Vietnam, in Vietnam, the harvest is year round. It's year round. But some fruits ripen at different times of the year than others. But I haven't took the time to find out what they are or which fruit ripen when. I just go with the flow. Like one day you'll see mangoes everywhere. Now it's avocado everywhere. Anyway, let's continue. The month of Aviv is the time when this ripening of barley takes place. This is, of course, the Hebrew month of Nisan. There is no mention of a season called spring anywhere in the Bible. Therefore, we must conclude that the Bible only recognizes two seasons. Listen, y'all, winter and summer. Or as the Talmud put it, well, that tells you a lot, right? They said, or as the Talmud put it, quote unquote, the days of sun, S-U-N, and the days of rain. Now, how in the world is winter rainy? Okay, I'm kind of enjoying this. So I'm going to keep going. The four seasons. Under the influence of the Greco-Roman civilization, the Jews, now listen, scholars, Jew is a religion. It is not a bloodline people. It is not a nation. It is not a people. It is a religion. Anybody can join it. Anyone from any nationality can become a Jew. It's a religion. And it's not even ancient. According to the story, if you believe the history, and I know the history, it's all sketchy. This guy, Josephus, y'all watch the video I did with Sonetta. You see Josephus, the works of Josephus has a lot of BS in it. All this stuff about that gives authority to Christianity, it's all BS. Y'all watch the video I did with Sonetta on my homepage or YouTube channel. The Jews divided the year into 4 seasons using the original Hebrew names of the months in which each season began. Tishrei. Now, y'all, this is biblical Hebrew, so you're not learning anything special here. This is a made-up pronunciations, okay? Tishrei, October. Tevet, January. Nisan, April. Tammuz, July. Uh-oh, sorry, y'all. The widescreen camera angle is difficult to work with. All right, so anyway, let's continue. The climate of Israel, for the most part, a land of sunshine and good weather. Though the land constituted a very small geographical area, there are considerable differences in temperature. For example, Mount Hermon, with its white snow caps all year round, towers 900 feet. I'm not interested in that. The land of Israel enjoys sunny blue skies from the beginning of May to the end of September with little or no interruption. And this made it possible for the large number of pilgrims. We looked up, we know the meaning of pilgrims, right? Foreigners traveling to Jerusalem, foreigners who are squatters. They took up residence. They're foreigners, they're squatters, they're on somebody else's land. For the various feasts, to spend several days with Christ in the world. This is all BS, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all watch the video I did with Sanana on my homepage on YouTube. This is not even worth continuing. That's the other thing. I don't know. I should have thought of that first. According to the story, according to the contract, the covenant, Israel would be completely and utterly destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah once the Israelites got kicked out. There is no possibility of anything or anybody to survive there. It's right there in the book of the law. It is a burning waste. I don't know why I didn't think of that. A burning waste. There is no water. Y'all watch the video I did with Sarnetta. You can get this. There's no water. So in fact, there's only one season. It's just hot, scorching hot. In other words, y'all, it's a desert like Sodom and Gomorrah. It is uninhabitable. Zion Law School scholars, if you're watching this video, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. We've gone through this a million times, shown it a million times. Okay, y'all. So in deserts, it's hot during the day and cold at night. All right. So one season, which is hot, and then there's hot and cold, like was said with Noah, hot and cold. All right. That's just how it feels. That's just how it feels. That's not the season. That's how you perceive the weather, the temperature. It's either hot or it's cold. Has nothing to do with the season. But let's go back to the finesse, and then I'm gonna leave this. All right. Let's go back to the finesse. Where does he talk about Moses? Here we are. It says 2 seasons. Y'all look at this. You see how they get you to trust them and then they just lie to you, right? Because why? They know that your faculty of critical thinking has been shut off. In Israel, the yearly cycle with its 4 seasons are not as clearly marked as the lands to the north of it. But to the Jew, every season was a special time and a reminder of the promises of God, as he said to Noah, quote unquote, seed time, that's spring, and harvest, that's autumn, and cold and heat. It's hot today, it's cold today. In winter, you can feel warm, right? If there's an uncharacteristically characteristically warm day in winter, oh, it's warm. In spring, it can be cold. It's an uncharacteristically cold day in spring. That's just how you perceive the weather. And that's different for everybody. All right? So the promises of God, as he said to Noah, seed time, spring, and harvest, autumn, fall, cold and heat, summer and winter. Read it yourself. Read it yourself. Now, this is a promise to God. So who are you going to believe? God or your lying priest, pastor, and scribe? Mark chapter 4, verse 12. Why do you speak to the people in parables? So that although having eyes to see, they cannot or will not perceive. Although having ears to hear, they will not understand. Because if they did, they could repent and be saved. Huh? So if you understand, if you can see that we're dealing here with 4 seasons, then you should be able to put 2 and 2 together, right? 4 seasons has to be North America or what? The Northern Hemisphere. Let me be more specific, or less. Let me be technically correct. The Northern Hemisphere. We're dealing with the Northern Hemisphere. 4 seasons, and who is orthogonous to the Northern Hemisphere in the West? The uh, Al Aqsa, the Maghrib. Who? We Moors. We Moors. Northwest of Mexico. Right, y'all? The Moroccan Empire. Y'all see it? So if you understand that, that takes you closer to your birthright. Right? That takes you to your birthright. Why? Well, the biblio the Book of the Law talks about the Ten Commandments. And there's even a Jeremiah 8:8 occurrence in that. Most outstandingly is the Sabbath, which takes you back to Genesis chapter 1 and chapter 2, where they play a massive literary trick on you. Zion Law School scholars, you should know what I'm talking about. So Genesis has the original documents, they don't have chapters or verses. They don't have chapters or verses. But we were told chapters and verses were put in there to make it easy for the people to read. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. They don't care anything about you. Anyway, y'all, I think I spent too much time on that. But that was fun. Oh, let me just show this before I go. Oh, the mandrakes. The mandrakes have to do with sex, right? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Uh-oh, hold on. I hope y'all can see this. Can y'all see it? Let me read it. Okay, abstract. This is Bible Archaeology, University of Iowa. Abstract. Rachel's agreement with Leah in Genesis chapter 30, verse 14 through 24, to exchange sex with Jacob for mandrakes constitutes an exchange of sex for fertility drugs. The story is rooted in an ancient fertility myth in which mandrakes are understood to possess physical and chemical properties that enhance fertility. Now, this is nature. This is nature. Now they're saying May, right? They're saying May. Is May spring or summer, y'all? Is May spring or summer? This article examines this exchange of sex for drugs. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, this is misleading. This is fraud. Why? Why? Because fruit and vegetation are food, not drugs. Drugs are what? Drugs are molecules that can be patented and used to make a profit in commerce. Note the difference. Nature versus commerce. Food rather. That's what I meant. Scratch that. Food versus drugs. Now, do y'all see how they use this pen to manipulate you, to get you to accept without even thinking? without even asking a question. Animal husbandry training, docility training. I'm pretty sure that 99.99% of the people watching this video or who even read this article will question whether or not a drug, whether or not food is a drug. Food is not a drug. Food is not a drug. So what do you mean? So let's say the U.S. de facto corporation is going to say, oh, this fruit, this fruit has a chemical makeup that enhances fertility. Therefore, it's a drug. Where does that end? So if it's a drug, why are they saying that? So that they can regulate it, so they can take your right to consume it away from you. And process it into a patentable molecule and make you pay for it, or to lock you up for having it. Y'all heard? This article examines this exchange of sex for drugs in Genesis chapter 3, verse 14 through 24. The nature of mandrakes and the origin of the fertility myth, including the origin of the legend of the shrieking mandrake, which is misattributed to Josephus, and examines the myth. Da 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 da. He continues. Later, biblical and extra biblical authors, to disguise, that means to deceive you. He said it, I did it. Jeremiah 8:8. He's telling you that the scribes deceived you. Extra biblical authors, later biblical and extra biblical authors, to disguise, to defraud you, to deceive you, to hide, to cover over the fertility myth, its efficacy, and the willingness of the Bible characters to participate in it. So now they just scandalize natural fruit that occurs in nature. But then you have in the book, Paul's letter, where he says what? Stop calling evil what I have cleaned, or something like that. All right, y'all. Hope everyone can see that. No, if it's natural, it is not a drug. Drugs, drugs are patentable molecules, unique molecules. And for you to be duped into believing that a fruit or vegetable or herb that has some type of ability to improve your health, if you can be duped into believing that that's a drug, well, you're messed up, my friend. Because that's the purpose of food. The purpose of food is to restore or maintain good health. That's the purpose of food. Next thing you know, they're going to try to tell you that the air has the ability to make you live. So therefore, they're going to patent that. And if you're stupid enough or if you've been miseducated and conditioned to accept that, well, now you are really nothing. You're really nothing. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me see if I have this right. You're totally gone. Okay, Revelation chapter 22, verse 2. 2, 4, 6. 2 plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 6. 6 is the number for the perfect man. Y'all read it. Focus on the bottom. All right, so here we are. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. And so now the hybrid, along with his dirty more companions, put themselves in the place, quote unquote, of God. Put themselves in the place of God, and they're going to take that away from you. They've taken it away. Why? Because you don't know any better. You don't know any better. Okay? This is birthright theft. Hold on. Quote unquote, Revelation chapter 2, 22, verse 2. Revelation chapter 22, verse 2. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. And there's the equivalent verse in Genesis chapter 1, if I remember correctly. Oh, New Living Translation. The leaves were used for medicine to heal the nations. Berean Standard Bible. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations. Okay, Berean Literal Bible. In the middle of its streets and of the rivers, on this side and that side, was a tree of life, producing 12 fruits, yielding its fruits according to each month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nation. All right. I think the point is well made. So let's move on from mandrakes, okay? Let's look at the Amplified Bible. Revelation chapter 22, verse 2. In the middle of its streets, on either side of the river, was the tree of life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit. The tree of life bearing 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nation. So now, the tree of life, these corporations, U.S., etc., etc., want to take control and use for commerce the tree of life. Why? Because the leaves of the tree is a tree of life. So they want to control the tree of life and use it for commerce. Y'all see that? Everybody see that? Drugs are molecules made in a lab, supposed to be unique molecules that are made in a lab. Food is not a drug. But remember what JC said. I speak to the people in parables so that although having eyes to see, they cannot perceive. Yeah, you see the fruit, but you don't perceive that it's food. You see the fruit and perceive that it's a drug. Why? Because that's what they told you. You see winter, the snow falling. You see fall, the leaves changing color, the temperature changing, the leaves fall. Everything starts to die. Winter, everything starts to freeze and there's snow and ice. You see spring, where there's a melting. And the plants, the vegetation begin to grow. The animals begin to come out. Men and women begin to become more active and go outside. Summertime. Trees develop fruit. Everything gets green. July, it gets very hot. This is in the north, the northern hemisphere, right? North America. You see that with your own eyes. If you had the benefit of traveling, or if you live in Southeast Asia, a lot of people have been to the Philippines, Thailand. These are popular places to go. Singapore, Vietnam, et cetera, India, Africa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know that there's only wet season and dry season. There is no winter rain. So let someone finesse you. My gosh. How long have we been going? Anyway, I hope y'all see the point. That was actually fun. For me, that was fun. Okay, now let's continue. Of savors or flavors, that's where we're at. Page 168. We stopped at mandrakes. So mushrooms are for the nervous system. They have a high copper content. Endive or artichoke, of beasts, the moon rules over those which live in the water. As the tapir, rhinoceros, hippopotamus, of reptiles, frogs, and other things, the otter, snail, the cunny, all seafowl, the cuckoo. What is a cuckoo? Is it? I wonder. When I read that the first time, I was wondering if he's talking about the cock, the what's the name of the bird, y'all, that lays its egg in another bird's nest? The cuckoo. Yeah, the cuckoo bird. Here's the cuckoo. This is the cuckoo bird. This is the cuckoo bird. Y'all should associate the cuckoo bird with birthright theft. Birthright theft, okay? Let me see if we can catch him in the act. So the cuckoo bird lays its egg in another bird's nest. And then that other bird, not a cuckoo bird, a different species of bird, so the other species of bird, all right, y'all? So here's the cuckoo bird. The cuckoo bird egg will hatch first. And then the cuckoo bird will throw these other eggs out of the nest. So that when the mother bird comes back, she sees only the cuckoo bird and she will nourish the cuckoo bird. So the cuckoo bird stole the nest and the food and killed the mother's babies. All right, y'all? So associate the cuckoo bird with birthright theft. And also, y'all, this is going to be also representative, hermetically speaking, this is the law of gender, specifically mental, masculine mental energy, which when weak, uh, can be replaced by somebody else's masculine mental energy. Now remember the mental masculine mental energy, that's the great I am. That's nationality, bloodline, family. Who am I? I'm my mother's son. Okay? Mother's son, masonry, ancient masonry, as opposed to Freemasonry, ancient masonry. So you get into civics, right? You get into law. You get into law. For example, the Ten Commandments: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Principles. All right, y'all? Okay. So we didn't cover much material. I'm going to finish this paragraph and then we can wrap it up. Okay, so the cuckoo. So I would like for you to remember Hermetic law of gender. Masculine, okay? Masculine. And of course, I am, or the great I am, which is nationality, which is birthright, right? Ten Commandments, the five highest principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Um, nature's God and nature's law, so on and so forth. Okay. Uh, okay, geese, ducks, and night owls, and the fish, the oyster, and the cockle, all shellfish. Okay, the crab, that makes sense, right? Cancer, the crab, summer solstice. Lobster, crawfish, shrimp, tortoise. Now, tortoise is also interesting, right? Tortoise Turtle Island. Tortoise Turtle Island. Let me see if I can show y'all an image. You know, if you, the American continent looks like a turtle. I'm trying to find an image of that. Can y'all make that out? There are much better images than this, but the bottom would be Mexico. Can y'all see that? So let me see if I can find a better image. No. Here's another image. Y'all see where it says head and tail, etc.? Y'all see that? On the playback, pause it. You can study this image. Turtle Island, tortoise, Turtle Island. Y'all see Florida over there? Y'all see the two legs and the tail? Two legs and the tail. Hold on. Y'all see the two legs? Two legs and then the tail. And hold on. The head at the top and the two arms on the sides. So the head. Oh, and then the two arms. Hopefully y'all can see that. Everybody see it? Turtle Island, tortoise, Turtle Island. All right, Turtle Island. Orientation is the northern hemisphere, 4 seasons. He continues. Tortoise and eel. So y'all should take some time, go into the devil's pulpit, look up eel. Eel, you should look up eel. Very important to look up eel. It's in the devil's pulpit. The link is in the description area of my recent videos. I have the link. It's a free PDF for the devil's pulpit by Robert Taylor. He gives you the etymology of eel, okay, and all of its word associations and the story. In places, over fields, fountains, harbors, or havens. So y'all see where this is going already, right? Harbors or havens for vessels, for vessels, for vessels, commerce, highways, and what y'all? Desert places, port towns, ports, rivers, fish ponds, standing pool. This sounds like current and currency, right, y'all? Current and currency. Maritime Admiralty Law, fiat system. Standing pools, fish ponds, boggy places, common shores, little brooks. Common shores. Y'all know what a shore is? Well, there can be a shore like for the sea, but I'm wondering, little brooks. Little brooks, they have banks, right? River banks, 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 banks that control the flow of the water, banks that control the flow of fiat currency, little brook springs, docks, docks, docks. Huh. De facto courts, right, are said to be docks. Of stones, the moon rules selenite, all soft stones, and crystals of all kind, glassware, etc. Of wind, the moon delights in the north wind. Hold on, y'all. Where's the north wind? Hold on. All commerce stuff. Hold on. Look, y'all. Read that, please. Now, unfortunately, this is Wikipedia, but the other links I got was just commerce. So if you want to refine this, you can do a search for weather, or refine your search. So y'all read that. Pause it on the replay. So here, let's read it together. A north wind originates in the north and blows in a southward direction. The wind has had historical and literary significance. Okay? Since it often signals cold weather and seasonal change in the northern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere. So if it signals seasonal change, we're dealing with 4 seasons. Where? The northern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere is the half of Earth that is north of the equator. For other planets in the solar system, north is identified as being in the same celestial hemisphere relative to the invariable plane of the solar system as Earth's northern pole. Northern hemisphere is shaded blue. So look at that, y'all. Here's the northern hemisphere. If I remember correctly, the longitude of Israel is almost 33 degrees. Okay, so it continues. Due to Earth's axial tilt of 23.439 degrees, winter in the northern hemisphere lasts from the December solstice, that's December 22nd, to the March equinox, that's approximately March 22nd, right? While summer lasts from June, which is approximately June 22nd, which is the summer solstice, through to September, or the September equinox, which is typically, y'all, September 22nd. The dates vary each year due to the difference between the calendar year and the astronomical year. Within the northern hemisphere, oceanic currents can change the weather patterns that affect many factors within the North Coast. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know why that happened, but it happened. Okay, y'all. So then it says such factors include El Nino, okay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so we're dealing with the northern hemisphere. So y'all see that these Bible scholars, these scribes, BS you, okay, BS you. You see it now. I didn't prepare these links in advance. Anyway, let's see. So I'm looking right now. Let me show y'all. List of continents, countries, or territories, and oceans in the northern hemisphere. So Africa. Entirely in the northern hemisphere. So I'm just going to show you where Israel would be. I don't see Israel there. Do y'all? Take a close look. Do y'all see Israel? Modern day Israel, do y'all see it there? Let me scroll down so y'all can see the heading. Do y'all see that? Pause this on the replay so y'all can get this, okay? Pause it on the replay. Hold on, let me try to get this. This is so difficult with this wide angle camera. It's really terrible. I think I'm gonna switch to Zoom because I don't like this wide angle. I gotta figure out how to turn it off. Tell me if y'all see Israel. It's not there. I didn't see it. Okay, so Israel is not on that list. Now it says here, so again, it starts with Ivory Coast. Israel should be there if it was in the northern hemisphere, right? But it's not. Now it says mostly in the northern hemisphere, and then partly. Do y'all see that? Israel is not there. I guess it would be easier if I tried to find this same table for the southern hemisphere, but it doesn't matter. And of course, North America obviously is in the northern hemisphere. So you caught the Bible scribes in a lie. And you also caught that author who wrote the article in a lie. All right? Very easy to do. Very easy to do. Let's continue. Page 169. So the moon, as far as stones, rules over crystals of all kinds, glassware, etc. The north wind of winds, the moon delights in the north, and usually when she is the strongest planet in the scheme, viz. In any lunation or month from one new moon to another new moon. The moon stirs up wind according to the nature of the planet she next applies to, of weather, when she is with Saturn, cold air. When the moon is with Jupiter, serene. Nice, it's good. Not nice, but comfortable air, right? Relaxing air, calm air. With Mars, red clouds and heat. With the sun, according to the season, but generally fair. With Venus and Mercury, showers, that's rain, water, and wind. Now remember, of winds she delights in the north. Showers would be characteristically springtime. Springtime, we get the what? We get the spring gust of wind, which is the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost, the spring winds. Okay, y'all? The Holy Ghost. You get that out of the devil's pulpit. So let's pick it back up in about 12 to 24 hours on page 169, the first paragraph. We're going to pick it up then. So thanks, y'all, for spending your time with me. Assalamu alaikum, Islam to all the Moors. I, self, law, am master. I see y'all on the next one.